Traviskelce caught the pass at midfield, tucking the ball under his arm as the crowd at Arrowhead Stadium roared. It was a crisp October afternoon, and the Chiefs were just minutes away from sealing another win. From the family box, Taylor watched every movement, her heart racing, her hands clasped tightly together. She had seen enough games to know when a play was going right. And when it was about to go horribly wrong, the Broncos linebacker came in low and fast. Travis planted his left foot to cut right, and the sound that followed wasn't the crack of a tackle but something sharper, heavier, the sound of pain. Travis went down instantly, clutching his knee, his face twisted in agony. The stadium fell silent in an instant, tens of thousands of fans holding their breath. Taylor stood frozen for a second before her instincts took over. She bolted from the suite, sprinting through the halls of Arrowhead like someone running toward a nightmare. By the time she reached the field, the medical team was already there. Travis lay on his back, white with pain, his hands gripping his knee. "Travis!" Taylor called, her voice trembling. He turned his head, his eyes finding hers through the chaos. "Taylor," he managed to say, barely more than a whisper. "My knee. I heard it pop." She ran alongside the cart as they carried him off the field, her hand pressed to his shoulder. "I'm here," she whispered, fighting the panic rising in her throat. "You're going to be okay." But deep down, she wasn't sure she believed it. The hospital lights were too bright, too cold, a stark contrast to the roaring warmth of Arrowhead just hours before. Taylor sat in the waiting room beside Donna Kelce, her hands clenched together so tightly her knuckles were white. The scent of antiseptic filled the air, and the muffled sounds of nurses moving down the hall only made the silence between them feel heavier. When Dr. Morrison finally appeared, Taylor stood before he even spoke. "It's not the worst-case scenario," he began carefully, "but it's serious." Travis had torn his MCL and meniscus. Surgery would be required, successful recovery expected, but only with strict rest. 6 to 8 weeks minimum, the doctor said. The first 2 are the hardest. He won't be able to move without assistance. Someone will need to be with him constantly, to help him eat, shower, dress, everything. Taylor didn't hesitate. "I'll do it," she said immediately. Donna turned to her, concern softening her expression. "Honey, you can't. Your European tour starts next week. London, Paris, Milan. 8 shows, right?" Taylor's stomach twisted. She had nearly forgotten the dates in the haze of panic. London on the 20th, millions of fans waiting, tens of millions of dollars in contracts, dancers, stage crews, hotels, arenas, all already in motion. "I can reschedule," Taylor said, her voice small but firm. Donna sighed gently. "You can't reschedule 8 shows in a week, sweetheart. The logistics alone would take months. Not to mention the cost." "I don't care about the money," Taylor said, and she meant it. But as the words left her mouth, she realized it wasn't only about the money. It was about the people. The fans who had waited for months, the hundreds of workers depending on those shows. Her career, her promise. Donna reached out and squeezed her hand. "Let's wait until Travis wakes up. Maybe we can figure out something together." But when Travis came out of surgery, groggy, pale, and barely able to move, his first words stunned her. "You're going to Europe," he said weakly. "You're not canceling your tour because of me." Taylor's throat tightened. "Travis, you can't walk. You need someone here." "I have my mom," he whispered, squeezing her hand. "You have a world waiting for you." Taylor shook her head, tears burning in her eyes. "I'm not leaving you." For 2 days, the argument circled endlessly. Love against logic, devotion against duty. Taylor stayed in the hospital, sleeping in a chair beside Travis's bed while messages from her management team flooded her phone. Each one carried the same warning. Postponing was impossible. Canceling would be catastrophic. Donna tried to mediate, but even she could see how stubborn both of them were. "Taylor," she said softly one afternoon, "he'll have help. I can stay with him. Jason and Kylie will check in. His teammates will too. You don't need to give up everything." But Taylor couldn't erase the image of Travis lying on that field, the pain in his voice, the fear in his eyes. She had built her career on being fearless, but this felt different. This was the man she loved, the person who steadied her when the world spun too fast. On the morning of October 16th, Taylor made her choice. She sat by Travis's bedside, her heart pounding as she called her manager. "I need to cancel the European leg," she said. There was stunned silence on the other end. "Taylor, that's not possible," her manager finally said. "Do you understand what this means? The penalties, the refunds, the damage." "I understand," Taylor interrupted. Her voice was calm now, almost frighteningly so. "Cancel the shows. Refund the tickets. Send the statement today." "Taylor, this isn't up for discussion," she said firmly. "Do it." When she hung up, Travis was staring at her. Disbelief and guilt etched across his face. "You shouldn't have done that," he said quietly. "Well, I did," Taylor replied, forcing a small, shaky smile. "So you're stuck with me as your nurse. This could hurt your career," Travis said. "Your fans, your team, they're going to be furious." Taylor leaned forward, brushing a strand of hair from his forehead. "You're going to keep your knee," she whispered. "That seems like a fair trade to me." An hour later, the announcement hit every platform. Due to a family emergency, Taylor Swift is postponing the European leg of her tour. All tickets will be refunded. Taylor apologizes to her fans and hopes to reschedule these shows in the future. The internet exploded. Hashtags trended worldwide. Fans were devastated, confused, angry. Some praised her for choosing love. Others accused her of throwing away her legacy for a man. Taylor ignored all of it. The only thing that mattered was that Travis needed her, and she was there. Taylor brought Travis home on October 17th. The house felt quieter than usual, the hum of the air conditioner the only sound filling the space. She helped him settle onto the couch, arranging pillows beneath his leg just as the doctor had instructed. His crutches leaned against the wall nearby, a silent reminder of how fragile he suddenly was. In the first few days, she learned how much care really meant. Getting Travis to the bathroom took both her strength and his trust. Showering him safely meant steadying his weight, shielding his incision from water, and pretending she wasn't terrified of hurting him. Even simple things, changing bandages, preparing meals, timing pain medication, became acts of love disguised as routine. But love alone couldn't stop exhaustion. By the third day, Taylor's eyes burned from lack of sleep. She was up every few hours, listening for Travis to call her name. She cooked, cleaned, checked his medication schedule, and answered messages from her team, all while fighting the guilt of having left so many people waiting. "You should be in London right now," Travis said softly on October 20th, the day the tour should have begun. "You should be singing for 80,000 people, not helping me shuffle to the bathroom." "I'm exactly where I want to be," Taylor replied, though her voice carried the weight of fatigue. Travis frowned. "No, you're not. You're exhausted, Taylor. You've given up everything because I got hurt. And I can't even help you back." "It's not your fault," she said gently. He looked down, his jaw tight. "It feels like it is." Taylor sat beside him, taking his hand. "This isn't about fault. It's about love. When you needed me, I came. That's what people do when they mean something to each other." He didn't argue after that, but the silence that followed was heavy, filled with guilt and unspoken frustration. As the days stretched on, Taylor's strength began to falter. The fatigue turned into irritability, the constant care into quiet resentment she hated herself for feeling. Travis, trapped in his own body, grew restless and depressed, snapping over small things, the temperature of his meals, the timing of his exercises, how often she hovered. Love was still there, but now it lived side by side with frustration, fear, and exhaustion. And it was only a matter of time before something broke. It happened on the 11th day. Taylor was helping Travis shower, an act that had become their most frustrating ritual. He hated needing help, and she hated feeling like she wasn't enough. He insisted he could balance on his own, that she didn't have to steady him every second. She tried to stay calm, tried to remind herself it was the pain talking, not him, but exhaustion doesn't care about good intentions. As she reached to adjust the towel wrapped around his brace, Travis flinched, his knee trembling. Taylor's heart jumped. "Travis, stop, just let me help you." "I said I've got it," he snapped. Something inside her cracked. She sank down onto the cool tile floor, her hands trembling, the sound of running water muffled by her sobs. "I can't do this," she whispered, tears falling freely. "I'm trying so hard, but I can't do everything. I can't be your nurse and your physical therapist and your cook and your fiancé all at once. I'm so tired, Travis. I'm so tired." For a long moment, he just stood there, leaning on the shower wall, his expression softening from frustration to heartbreak. "Taylor," he said, his voice low and shaky. She shook her head, unable to stop crying. "I know you didn't ask for this. I know you told me to go on tour. I know you feel guilty, but I chose this. And now I'm drowning." Travis exhaled deeply, and for the first time in days, the tension between them broke. "Okay," he said quietly, his tone steady now. "Then we're changing things. We're calling my mom. We're calling Kylie. We're getting help. You're not doing this alone anymore." Taylor looked up through tears. "But I want it to be enough," she said, her voice breaking. "I wanted to take care of you myself." Travis crouched beside her, ignoring the pain shooting through his leg. "Baby, you're enough," he said. "You've always been enough. But that doesn't mean you have to do everything alone. We're a team, remember? And teams ask for help when they need it." Within hours, help arrived. Donna showed up with her calm, maternal steadiness, taking over medication schedules. Kylie brought warm meals and comfort in the form of laughter. Jason handled the driving to physical therapy appointments. A home health aide came twice a day to assist with medical care. For the first time in nearly 2 weeks, Taylor exhaled without guilt. That night, lying beside Travis, she whispered, "Why didn't we do this sooner?" He smiled faintly. "Because we're both stubborn idiots who think love means doing everything ourselves." Taylor smiled too, exhaustion fading into quiet gratitude. "Maybe this is what real love looks like," she said softly. "Messy, imperfect, but still standing." The next few days felt lighter, not because things were suddenly easy, but because they were shared. With help arriving regularly, Taylor could finally rest. She could sleep through the night without jolting awake every few hours. She could make coffee in the morning and hum a melody while the house stirred gently around her. For the first time since the injury, she could breathe. Travis noticed the change immediately. He watched her move through the house with softer eyes, the shadows under them slowly fading. "You're starting to look like yourself again," he said one morning, a small smile tugging at his lips. "That's because I actually slept," she teased, setting down his breakfast tray. He chuckled, wincing slightly as he adjusted his brace. "This whole thing has taught me something," he said. "That accepting help doesn't make me weak. And watching you, it made me realize that love isn't just about showing up for the other person. It's also about letting them not do everything alone." Taylor smiled faintly. "I've learned something too," she admitted. "I thought staying here and doing everything myself would prove how much I loved you. But that wasn't love. That was guilt and pride pretending to be devotion." Travis looked at her, quiet for a moment. "So what's love then?" She met his gaze, her eyes warm. "Love is knowing when to stop pretending to be superhuman. It's asking for help. It's admitting when you're scared or tired. It's choosing the person, not the performance." That night, as they lay together, Travis resting against a fortress of pillows, he asked softly, "Do you regret canceling the tour?" Taylor thought about it. "I regret how it happened," she said. "I wish we'd planned better, that I'd asked for help sooner. But being here with you? No, I don't regret that for a second." He reached for her hand, his thumb tracing the inside of her wrist. "Even though it cost you millions of dollars?" "Even though," she said with a small smile, "because money can't buy what this taught us." They fell asleep holding hands that night. Two people humbled and healed by the hardest kind of love, the kind that doesn't glitter or trend online, but endures quietly in the moments no one else sees. By the end of the second week, progress finally began to show. Travis could move with less pain, could lift his leg an inch higher each day, could laugh again without wincing. Every small milestone felt monumental. Then, on October 28th, 15 days after the injury, he took his first steps without crutches. Just 3. Careful, shaky steps from the couch to the chair. Taylor stood nearby, her heart pounding, her hands ready to steady him if he slipped. "I did it," Travis said, his voice filled with disbelief and pride. "You did," Taylor whispered, tears spilling down her cheeks. "I'm so proud of you." That night the house was calm. Donna had gone home, the aides were done for the day, and the two of them sat curled up together on the couch. Travis stared at the flickering TV screen for a moment before turning to her. "I need to tell you something," he said. Taylor's heart skipped. "What is it?" He took her hand. "Watching you these past 2 weeks, seeing you give up your tour, seeing you burn yourself out trying to care for me, it broke my heart, but it also showed me something important." "What?" she asked softly. "That you're the person I want to build a life with," he said. "Not because you're perfect, but because you're real. You tried too hard, then admitted you couldn't do it all, and we figured it out together. That's what marriage is going to be. Not getting everything right, but learning side by side." Taylor's eyes glistened. "I love you," she whispered. "And I'm so glad your knee's healing, because I really want to dance with you at our wedding." Travis laughed gently, squeezing her hand. "Speaking of that, what if we made it smaller?" "Smaller?" Taylor tilted her head, he nodded. "Instead of a massive show with hundreds of people, what if it's just the ones who were here through this? The people who actually showed up when things got hard." Taylor smiled as she thought of them. Donna, who had dropped everything to help. Kylie, who brought meals without judgment. Jason, who drove Travis to therapy so she could rest. "The people who matter most," she said. "Exactly," Travis replied. "No press, no performance. Just us, our family, and the ones who stood by us when things weren't pretty." Taylor felt something settle inside her. Peace. For months, their wedding had felt like an event. Now, it felt like a promise. 3 weeks after the injury, when Travis was walking with a cane and Taylor was finally sleeping through the night, they sat down with their wedding planner and started over. 50 guests. Backyard ceremony. Nothing staged, nothing extravagant, just love, raw and real. "My publicist is going to hate this," Travis joked. Taylor smiled. "My publicist will survive. After everything we've been through, I don't care what anyone else thinks. This is our life, our wedding, our choice." By November 1st, the tension that had hung over their home had finally lifted. Travis's follow-up appointment brought good news. His knee was healing beautifully. The doctor smiled as he flipped through the scans. "You'll be walking without assistance soon. Back to light practice in 2 weeks, full activity in 4. You're lucky, Travis. The care you received those first few weeks made a big difference." In the car afterward, Travis reached across the console and took Taylor's hand. "Thank you," he said quietly. "For what?" she asked, looking over at him. "For everything. For giving up your tour. For wearing yourself out to help me. For finally asking for help when you couldn't do it alone. For loving me, even when it was hard." Taylor squeezed his hand. "You'd do the same for me." "In a heartbeat," he said. Then his voice softened. "But I need you to know something. Your dreams matter too. You gave up something huge for me, and I'll never take that for granted." She smiled. "It was worth it. Every second, every sleepless night. I'd do it again." "Let's hope we never have to test that," he said with a laugh. They drove in comfortable silence for a while before Taylor spoke again. "You know what's funny?" she said. "I thought canceling that tour would be the biggest regret of my career. But I'm not angry about it. These past few weeks, taking care of you, writing again, seeing what love really looks like, I've written more real songs than I would have on tour. Songs about showing up, about the quiet parts of love. So my injury was good for your music?" Travis teased. Taylor laughed. "Let's just say life has a strange way of writing the best verses for us." When they returned home, a small package sat on the doorstep. Inside was a handwritten letter from a fan in London. "Dear Taylor,